everybody, it's Annette from The Art of Intuition. And today we are going to talk about power in honor of the official date of the Lions Gate, which is officially 8/8. A lot of people felt the Lions Gate open though in July. Some people might have even felt it earlier, depending on where you are in your journey and how in tune you are when this stuff really starts to rev up. If you're really still in a majority of human consciousness and we go by the linear dates a lot more, just like we go by the linear dates of full moons and new moons, when a lot of those energies and the solstice and all that stuff, but a lot of that stuff opens weeks and weeks and months ahead of time. But I didn't get to go live during the Lions Gate, so I did want to put out a video about some tapping into your real power and not the human power that we are so influenced by in our human experience. So I wanted to kind of delve into that a little bit, because there's a big difference between human power and our ascended power and where we pull our power from. So when we talk about human power, that is normally defined when we're in our human experience by our power over others, right? What we can manipulate, what we can control, and how we control that, whether we do it through money, whether we do it through sex, whether we do it through manipulation. But we're always trying to control outside. And being able to control the external is a reflection of our power, how much power we have. And in our human experience, that's how we gauge power, right? I mean, who has the most fame, who has the most money, who has the most influence, all those things are considered power plays, right? They're all considered to be what true power is. And when we start going through our awakening, a lot of times if we had a lot of that power, that I don't want to call it fake power, because in human realities it is a form of power. It is a distorted form of power. It's the old saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. And that's basically what it is. It's almost like in that video game, money, fame, all those things give you the illusion of power. It's a fake power, but it still is a distorted view of power that you have in that reality if you have those things. A lot of the time we go through our awakening, if we had those things, they get stripped away. And then we see that it was a kind of a false power, because the minute those external things are gone, all of our power feels like it goes away. And that is why it happens that way. That's why our awakening can be so, and I've said, for some people it's one thing, and we will go to our awakening moments and say, oh, it was this one thing. It was that one relationship, this one thing, and that was just the one thing that did it. But normally if I look back, it was a cataclysmic event of a lot of things that hadn't worked. This is just the last thing that happened. This is just the thing that just broke it open, to where you just get so disillusioned with everything. So we go through a real stripping down of all that external power. And you'll see it for a lot of people who are in big influence positions. You'll see a lot of those times they get kind of kicked out of, cancel culture. They get canceled out of human dimensions for a while. And they lose a lot of that stuff. And we have to lose a lot of that stuff, because if we don't, we stay in the game. Now, keep in mind, everyone goes through their awakening, their ascension in different time frames. We all can't do it at the same time. The total structure of everything in human realities would fall apart if everyone was doing it at the same time. And we need the support system of certain human things during certain parts of our process. A lot of people will find that they lose their job and all of a sudden they're on unemployment, right? This is just an example, but they lose their job, the job gets ripped, whatever, and they're on unemployment for a while, but during that time they have money coming in and they can focus on their journey. Well, we need that system to be in place so that person can do their journey. Is it distorted? In a sense, everything in human realities is distorted. But you'll find that some of it supports you for a time while you're exiting out. If everyone went through it at the same time, it would be just like, think about your awakening and your ascension wherever you are in your process. If everyone went through it at the same time, on the planet. It would just be like a meltdown of everybody, because when we're in a meltdown. You know, you're trying to get people to understand what's going on with your life when they can't, because they're still in their human experience, and we want people to understand what we're doing, and they can't understand that. Not because they are not judging, they can't understand it, but they're not going through it, so they just don't understand it. So the power that we really have to grapple onto when we start going through this process and we start losing that external power play, and that's probably a better way to even say it. It's a play of power. It's not real power. It comes from our need of our root chakra of acceptance, right? So it's something we can throw in there to feel like we have power, but we really don't. And it's so quickly how it fades away. You know, as soon as we are moving away from any type of human conformity, any type of the ways we used to conform into those human realities, as soon as we start moving away from that, we find all of a sudden, well, shit, all that influence, all that power, it really was an illusion. It really was not true anything. A lot of our human realities, we feel that same sense that it was a waste of my time. Boy, that was a waste of my time. Now, truly, that's not true. Everything we gained in our human experiences, we do use in our ascended life. All the skills you use in your human experience are going to come back in when you're in your ascended timeline. So, just think of them as upgraded timelines in a sense. That everything's kind of upgraded, and as we kind of go through them, you know, it reminds me of, I just watched the last season of Umbrella Academy, and they had a train sequence that kind of mimicked all these different timelines, and these two people got lost in the timelines, and sometimes we can feel like that. We get stuck in old timelines. We don't know how to get out, and we just keep looping around the same ones, and we're so confused about where we should be or where we're going that we keep looping around. And that's a lot of what happens when our power starts to wane, when you start losing your human, what you conceived as human power, and who you looked up to, who you thought was powerful. You know, whether it be because of fame, money, just whatever it was to you that made you, even if you look at ancestral DNA and bloodlines and your parents or your father or your mother, anyone that you look at goes, yeah, that's powerful because of the power they hold over others. And that was what humans did. That is what we did. A power we held over someone. It was to manipulate, to let the external work in our favor, right? That's what we thought we were doing. And that was the power we thought we had. When all that gets stripped away, we start to learn about, okay, what is power? So when we go through the Lion's Gate, a lot of anger will come up for a lot of people. Frustration comes up for a lot of people because it's pushing us forward. The Lion Gate is supposed to push us forward. Like I said, a lot of people started feeling this last month. You could feel that Lion's Gate opening. You could start to feel that push through, that power. But it switches. It's not that external focus power anymore. We don't feel powerful by the external things that we have. We feel power because of the connection. There are internal power. It starts coming from really heart consciousness power. It's our internal power. It's no longer power over others. It's power over ourselves. And that is what the Lion's Gate, for me, that's what it is. That's what ascension power is. And we talk about the God particle on here, and walking into your power and activating that power where you're the creator of your reality. Well, we can't walk into that. We can't activate that. We can't activate these other timelines if we have no power over ourselves and what consciousness we're bringing to the table and what we are playing in, what we're not playing in, what we're addicted to. And human reality is all about addiction. It's all about being addicted to the drama, addicted to the chaos, addicted to whatever it is that kept pulling you back in. And there will be something that kept pulling you back in, whether it was the promise of that relationship you wanted or the promise of the money you wanted. There'll be something that kind of will always, in the beginning of our process, kind of start to pull us back in a little bit. Because it's supposed to. It helps us continue to work out distortions. It helps us see, wow, I do kind of want to get pulled. I do kind of want to get pulled back in there. I'm not done yet. And you will hear some people get through a lot of parts of their awakening and some of their ascension, and then they kind of veer back off. And it's almost like in the Umbrella Academy, that subway system, they tend to go back in another timeline. And you're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? because it's something they want to go do, a human experience they want to go have. And that happens a lot where people will kind of go back and kind of go back and repeat. Some people call it a karmic cycle. They kind of go back and repeat something because they want to have that experience. And it's not for us to judge someone who wants to have that experience. Once you get to certain parts of your ascension, though, you don't kind of feel that anymore. And you start trying to really work on your actual power. And that's the only power we truly have. Everything else is the illusion of power, is our internal power. To me, it's not coming from our root chakra, our desire to control others. It's coming from our heart chakra, our desire from within, our power over ourselves. What am I bringing to the table? What can I do? What can I create? What is not okay here in these realities I've built, in this timeline I'm in? What is not respectful? What am I allowing? Because we cannot have any power in any of our realities if we have no power over ourselves, if we cannot police ourselves in a sense, and police the consciousness we have, and what consciousness we're bringing forward, and being really realistic about that. What am I bringing forward? Am I completely just bringing my human self to this? Am I getting all caught up in how I wanted something to be, and I'm taking everything way too freaking personal? Because none of this is personal. No one's ascension journey is personal. No one's soul contracts are personal. None of that shit is personal. As a human, we take all that shit personal. You will start to find in your ascendant realities, you don't take anything personal anymore. You depersonalize it, right? You stop taking it personal, but it's not the human taking it personal. I would always hate, it was a great line in that movie, You've Got Mail, which was out, I don't know when it was out, I think it was out in the 90s. And one of the characters says, it's not personal. And the other character says, no, it's not personal to you. It was personal to me. And I thought that was a great line. It sums up a human experience, yes, but because it's not, people will say that in the human lore, in the human reality, oh, it's not personal. Of course it is. It's personal to the person who took it personal, right? But we get past all that. So it's not the same, it's not personal. It is truly, you understand, it is truly not personal. It is everyone working through their own shit, working through their own programming, going through their soul contracts. It has so nothing to do with us. We are so 100 times removed from these decisions these people are making, whether they know it or not. But once we have the consciousness to understand that, we really do understand it's not personal. It really isn't. It's not us. It's not really about us. It's not really about them. This shit is so not personal. And for us to sit there and feel like it is, it's really just ourselves having to really look and really take it back and go, why am I taking it that way? So as we move into our real power, which is your connection within, your presence in your realities, how you're allowing them to play out, standing up for yourself in those realities. We can bring through power. We don't have to bring through, and sometimes it will in a lot of realities, especially when we're clearing a lot of stuff and we're in some really distorted timelines, it can come up as anger. But to me, the anger is more clearing our connection to really get into our true power. Anger itself, to me, is not power. It's just propelling us to go in one direction or the other. It's helping us unlock our power. It's helping us to say, no more, I'm done. It's almost the calm before I want to say calm before the storm, but that's the right analogy. It's just getting us to walk into our power. We can't walk into, true power is not anger either. It's that connection of, this is not acceptable. It's not acceptable how I'm being treated. And perhaps I have to look at myself and go, it's not acceptable how I'm treating someone else. It's our own power. It's looking at ourselves first. We can't look at everyone else and go, you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem. No. We're the problem. If there's a problem going on out here, I will bet you it started somewhere over here. We've allowed the problem to continue. We've allowed the disrespect to go. We've allowed this reality to get so sideways, so backwards, that people are raising their voices. Spoiler alert, any reality where any voices are getting raised, it is out of alignment. This thing has gotten completely fucking distorted, and it's time now to rein it back in. Because if that's where we are, then it is completely out of whack. we get to some timelines where you will see a lot of videos talk about pulling out your power and bringing your power forth, but it is really that internal power. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with manipulation. It has nothing to do with any of these external markers of power. It is our own connection, our own power over ourselves, our own power over what we ourselves will put ourselves in, what timelines we choose to participate in, what ones we choose no longer to participate in. We can be powerful and kind. Powerful is not, it's not a manipulation, it's your presence. It's how you're showing up. You can be powerful and very soft and very kind, but you still show up as powerful because you're radiating that inner power where nothing less than respect, soul respect, not human respect. Human respect is not respectful. Human respect is kind of a joke. Human respect is that fake niceties. We're talking about true kindness, not niceties. Thinking about other people, not just thinking about ourselves, not thinking about what's best for me, what's best for the whole timeline. And certain parts of Ascension, you're going to be asked to do that. What's best for this whole timeline? Not just me in this timeline. Now, in the beginning, it will be just us in the timeline because we're going to remove ourselves from a lot of timelines that we know are not respectful. And a lot of them are not going to fall apart if we walk away because we're playing a small part in them in a sense. A lot of them keep going or they'll kind of spin off. There'll be a spin-off timeline where they'll spin off and someone else will come in your place. You don't have the impact in those realities you think you do, which is always funny to me because I hear so many people really wrapped up in these human conflicts, wrapped up in human realities, where they feel like if they remove themselves, oh, if I quit that job, oh, if this happens, everything's going to fall apart. Nothing will change. Shit will keep going. Doesn't matter. It's our own self-importance because that is our fake power too. To feel like I'm so important. I tried to quit my job, but they won't allow me to quit my job. I actually heard someone say that once. I thought it was the funniest thing. I just won't allow it. They won't allow me to do it. And I'm like, what? Well, you're not allowing yourself to do it because you really don't want to do it. It's all just the fakery, fuckery in a sense of the human games we all play with each other and the human drama and the human chaos and just creating it, keeping it going and running it up the flagpole and seeing who's still there to cheer it on. It loses a lot as you go through your process and you realize it's not power. Those are just fake power plays and they're not real power. So when you start exiting a lot of those realities, they keep going. It doesn't matter. They'll find someone else to slip right in there. They will recast someone else for your role and that's the end of that. That's how that's going to go. But there are other times where you know that you're responsible for this timeline. You created that timeline. You invited people to come in and join you in that timeline. And now it's gotten misaligned. Now it's gotten disrespectful. And a lot of them will. Because when you are bringing your higher self to the table and supporting others, a lot of times if people still have any bit of their human consciousness still controlling their actions, they're going to still separate off into selfishness or separate off into no, mine. What yours is ours, but what mine is mine, and you can really feel that and see that. And I did a video about, having to abandon a lot of these at some point, abandon these timelines, abandon these realities, close them out because you're not really getting anywhere with them. But that really takes our own power, our true power, to look at these timelines and be able to say, okay, you can be powerful and kind, you can be powerful and loving. Powerful is not cruel, it's not. It might come off as harsh to someone in the reality that's getting closed out because they're upset and disappointed that it's getting closed out. So we have to look at how we're showing up for everyone in the reality. And that's a big responsibility when you get to certain parts of your ascension, when okay, I'm going to straighten this out. I might have created this, but now, we have to kill some of these timelines, we have to let it go. We have to be able to say, okay, this is not going to work. This is not working. Because what you'll find is some people don't want to step up, and they don't want to. They're not ready to. There's something else they want to go do. So we're going to be called to be able to hold our power through compassion and hold our power in a way you've never had to hold power before. But if you can't hold it with yourself, you can't hold it with anybody else. That's like respect. You can't ask someone else to respect you if you don't respect yourself. It's the truer words are never really spoken in a sense. You have to be able to respect yourself. You have to, but not human respect, soul respect. Humans will say a lot of shit is respect because they feel like someone is not doing what they want them to do. They're not acting how they want them to act, right? So it's disrespectful. We're talking about real disrespect, soul disrespect, not allowing someone else to do their journey. We can sometimes be disrespectful and not realize it because we want someone to do our journey, and we don't want to allow them to do their journey. And we have to be able to really look and see, okay, these journeys are going to go separate ways, and we have to allow them to go separate ways. We have to allow people to go the direction they want to go in and not feel like we have to continue to show up and be part of these things. So really feel, close your eyes and really feel, bring forth your power and feel where in your body you're kind of resisting that. Is it in your stomach? Is it in your throat? You don't want to speak the truth. You don't want to really speak how you feel about something. Where are you kind of resisting your own power? Because if you're resisting within yourself, cleaning up your own side of the street in a sense, you cannot be powerful in reality. You can't show up that way if you're not powerful with yourself. And what part of me wants to show up? Does my human want to show up, or does my higher aspects want to show up here? Who's talking here? Who really wants to be in this reality? Where am I really pulling that power from? If it's deep within myself, or am I trying to manipulate someone else with these power plays that aren't going to work for long? They didn't work in our human realities. They work even shorter in these realities because they're fake. There's nothing to back it up. That's why when you see these power plays now, once you've tapped into your true power and real power, when you see these power plays coming up in the human realities, you see how fake it is. There's no power there. It's almost like in The Wizard of Oz when the good witch says, be gone. You have no power here. And you don't have any power. You can't be manipulated anymore. No one has power over you anymore. So if there's any realities where you still have the illusion that someone has power over you, you're going to really be forced to look at that as you go through the Lion's Gate. And the Lion's Gate doesn't close after 8/8. It'll continue to go. It'll continue to work on you. Continue to bring forth that, I feel like someone has power over me. I can feel that. I can feel I feel less than someone else. Those are the types of power that really starts to come through when we start to go through the Lion's Gate. It's a big part for us. It's not about external power. It's not about those fake stuff. It's about our own power, where we're not standing in our power, where we're letting shit slide, where we feel someone is more powerful than we are. Whether it be we're renting and the landlord, and that reality is set up in a sense. There's already a imbalance of power in a sense in that reality. How are we balancing that out? How do we feel about that? You can see a lot of them, your boss, you. A lot of these situations are set up for imbalances of power. We have to be able to shift that scale. We have to be able to understand what we're bringing to the table. Our power, our internal power in our compassion, power in our love for ourselves, compassion for ourselves, but be able to look at where we're not feeling that, because the Lion's Gate will show that to you. The Lion's Gate will show you where you are not feeling powerful. It will show you that, and it'll kind of amplify it. So as we go through the rest of the gate, which will, to me, usually goes through, it'll go through the fall equinox. When you also are clearing a lot of this stuff, because once 2025 templates start coming through, which they're already coming through, that's why you get the distortion in a way. When the Lion's Gate comes in, everything feels like it goes haywire, because it's showing you all the things that you got to clear up before you can even start to work on 2025. That's why 2025 templates come through, and the distortion within them, the distortion with how you're currently aligning your reality is going to be clear. You can't do 2025 until you straighten out this stuff over here. The templates aren't matching, in a sense. I mean, when you can't get here, you gotta fix all this stuff first. That is why you feel such the pull. That's why the Lion Gate comes in to really push us through it and be like, okay, I really got to clean up all this stuff. I got to look at these realities. Where do I not feel like I have the power? Where does it feel misaligned? So as we continue to go through that process, You know, sometimes that's why you won't feel like you even get to 2025. I didn't even feel like I even got to 2024 till halfway through 2024. I feel like I'm still cleaning up 2023, and I wasn't really quite ready to get into 2025 stuff. And I feel like a lot of us felt that way this year. We feel like we never kind of got into it. It was just a big cleanup cleanup on all six of everything else. So as 2025 comes in, and you're getting those templates, whether you're conscious of them or not. Some of us already get a wink and a nod of things that are coming in. Some of us don't have that yet. You understand the direction you're going. You're going to see where there's still an imbalance here. And these things can't take place until these things are rectified. So really utilize that information and don't discount it. And just enjoy the ride. Okay. I think that's it for today. Keep practicing the art of intuition.